And we're back with your coffee break. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, joined now by someone pretty familiar with from my days covering Trumbull, Fred Garrity, who is the director of the Connecticut United Ride. Fred, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Fred, the ride is this weekend, which is a little bit earlier than usual. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this year we've been explaining to folks that we're 2 weeks early. We've had this happen once before in the 14 years. This is the 15th annual, but it's the 14th anniversary of 9/11. We've always been the week after Labor Day, which is the closest to 9/11. This has happened once before. Because September 1st is a Tuesday, then Labor Day weekend. If we went the weekend after Labor Day, we'd miss 9/11. So we have to go the last weekend in August. This happened a few years back. Next year, though, it'll change because the 15th anniversary and our 16th event will be on 9/11 on the Sunday. So our largest event to date was the 10-year anniversary in 05. We had about 4,000 riders. So next year's will probably be another one of the record breakers. So we're next weekend.
Yeah, and I know we have some photos of past events, and really, if you haven't seen it or gone before, it really is just such like a wonderful piece of Americana. It's very patriotic, and it's really powerful, all those motorcycles riding.
It really is, and it's hard to describe because 9/11 was such a tragedy. It was a great loss for America, and one of the things, we had our thank you appreciation reception last week, and we had fire and police from all the 10 towns that we ride through come and show appreciation, and everybody gets ready, works out some details. But one of the things we talked about, the newer generations, the younger generations, if you will, if you ask them, what's December 7th? Or in reverse, when was Pearl Harbor? Not a lot of answers. But nobody's going to forget 9/11. And what we've done is we've been able to show the patriotic resilience that everybody has and turn one of the greatest tragedies we've had into a positive remembrance and celebrate the people that are there to help us every day. And that's really what this is. It's not easy to tell somebody, I went to a really cool patriotic event, but that's what this is.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of this is about honoring and helping first responders as well. Correct?
Absolutely. We have a tagline that we use. It says, the reason we ride is for those that lost their lives, for those that gave their lives, and for those that continue to put their lives on the line each day. So that kind of synopsizes, Americans were killed that day. And firefighters, police officers, first responders ran in that building on purpose. And then since then, we've had some wars, but firefighters and our first responders and police, they're there every day putting themselves in harm's way continuously. So it's a nice recognition. A lot of 9/11 events continue in smaller fashion, but this is really an original 9/11 event that has continued now annually. This is our 15th time that we're going to come together because it's done the right way. The state firefighters are the sponsor, the UPFFA of Connecticut. All the towns in Fairfield County embrace it, which we start in Norwalk and end in Bridgeport. So folks have been used to coming out on the rides. The very first year, there were very few spectators out. Last year, and Hersom has a lot of responsibility for helping get people out on that route. There were probably 10 to 15,000 spectators out last year. We started in Norwalk, and we ride through Norwalk, Westport, Wilton, Georgetown, Reading, Bethel, Newtown, Monroe, Trumbull, Fairfield, Bridgeport. Oh. It's a 60-mile ride. And people are familiar now. They've seen on many events where you have the aerial trucks, the fire trucks, 2 ladder trucks holding a 50-foot flag. Well, we have that in each of the towns. And in some of the places, there's 4, 5, 6 of them. So we have about 26 ladder trucks out. That doesn't count the hundreds of fire trucks at other intersections. We have anywhere from 50 to 75 motorcycle police in the front, local police blocking intersections. So when you have those ladder trucks, you have 500 to 1,000 people. Everywhere there's a ladder truck. That's 5,000 to 10,000 people right there. Now people are on their lawns, flags. They can't wait. The lawn chairs are out. When you go through the suburbs of Wilton and Reading and Bethel, folks with the tractors on the big farms pull their tractors out.
Wow.
I mean, people have now, it is so ingrained that people look for the same spectators every year in the same places, and it grows and grows every year. It's really something to see.
Yeah, and I know we have some photos up. You never get tired of seeing those ladder trucks with the big flags hanging. It just looks so amazing.
No, it puts an adrenaline in you. When I tell folks, when you describe the parking lot, it's huge and empty and black. And when we get there, we have the cadets coming this year. You're lining up the orange barrels. And the Teamster trailer from Boston comes down, the big red, white, and blue to be the backdrop for the stage. Slowly, the motorcycles come. You have the DJ setting up. So now as the motorcycles line up in the parking lot, you have the firefighters from Norwalk and New Canaan come put the ladder trucks up in the parking lot for the beginning. So at the opening ceremony, you have a 50-foot American flag. You have the big red, white, and blue Teamster trailer. You have everybody in the parking lot lined up. You have rock and roll music there. You have American flags everywhere. We hand out the American flag bandanas. You have the Connecticut State Firefighters Pipe and Drum Corps come in with the bagpipes, blow an Amazing Grace. The fire bell is rung 11 times by the Norwalk Fire Department, Star Spangled Banner, Pledge of Allegiance. It really, really puts goosebumps in you and reminds everybody why we're there. A lot of our local officials, mayors, selectmen, congressmen, senators, governor, lieutenant governor, state officers are there because they're showing their respect, and it's very cool. But that momentum is built up, and as you just described, when you leave Norwalk and we head down into Westport, there it is a few miles later. 2 more ladder trucks and other ladder trucks and people there. And it's like, wow, and the sirens are going off. And as that winds down, you get to the next town, there it is again. Mm-hmm. That goes on for 60 miles. It is really something to experience.
And how many riders do you expect this year?
It fluctuates every year. We're anywhere from 1,500 riders to 3,500 riders. It all depends on the weather. Mm-hmm. And there's really a science. We've done it so many times, we get down to the low level of analytics because we have so many participants. It really has to be beautiful weather between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. That's because we get 1,000 riders from more than 30 miles away. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, folks in Groton and New London and Middletown and farther, they look out their window, and if it's still dew out there and there's a sprinkle, they say, I don't know whether I want to ride in the rain.
Right.
But every year, if it's beautiful during that time, that's the difference in 500 to 1,000 riders showing up. Every year, the last hour, there's a crush of people said, okay, it's going to be nice, I'm heading down. Yeah. But one of the very smart things we did a long time ago, the second year we ran in 2002, we started pre-registration at Captain's Cove Seaport in Bridgeport on Bostwick Avenue. And it opens at 11 a.m., and we go there till 4:30 p.m. The very first year, 2002. The first year of our event, 2001, we had 500 riders. Mm-hmm. In 2002, we started pre-registration. We had 50 riders show up to pre-register. We thought that was great. Just ... all the way down. Last year, the day before our event, we registered 1,100 people the day before.
Wow.
So that's 1,100 people over a 5.5-hour period, which is nice. It makes the day enjoyable. People hang around. There's a lot of camaraderie going on. Mm-hmm. It's a much softer, relaxed atmosphere. But on the next day, you can also come register on Ride Day in Norwalk on 10 Norden Place, and we register 1,000 people in 2 hours.
Wow.
So we need a lot more volunteers,
Yeah.
and it's a much more, it's loud. The motorcycles are staying. They're all lining up. At Captain's Cove, everybody doesn't bring their motorcycle to register. Sometimes a car comes, because we want all our listeners to know that you can go online and print the registration form. We have folks that come and register 2, 5, 10. We have one guy registers 50 or 60 people every year. As long as you have your registration forms filled out completely with the money, you get as many wristbands and bandanas as you can come register. We try and make it easy for folks. So,
and what's the website? So
the
people
website is ctunitedride.com, and on Facebook at the CT United Ride. It would be really great if you liked our Facebook page, because it helps us get the information out. And we created a Facebook event. It's right on the Facebook page, the 2015 Connecticut United Ride. It helps us plan for food. One of the reasons we ask people to pre-register the day before, last year we did really well. Vazzi's helps us. They reach out, and they go way beyond. John Vazzano and his whole crew and Larry LeConte, they come down. One of the things that we had last year is we had 1,000 more than we expected. So we're calling the numbers of registration on the day of the ride down to Seaside, say, okay, we're up to 1,500, we're up to 1,600, we're up to 1,700, and they're sending folks out to go buy more food to be able to feed everybody.
Wow.
So we had 1,000 more than we expected last year.
That's a big difference.
And, it's a major feat. It's a major feat, and after 2 hours, everybody gets down, they're all hungry. They've in less than an hour, thousands of people are fed.
Right.
It's really something to
Well,
see.
you've made it a well-oiled machine at this point, you know?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I tell people it's run because of the people. It's very successful. There's not a lot of committees here, but there are a lot of volunteers. A lot of people help. A lot of people will call up and say, am I still doing this for you this year? Am I still doing this for you? The first few years, you're proactive. You're calling people. It's gotten to the point where several of the checkbox items are reactive. I'm receiving the calls. We have folks like Poland Springs who donate thousands of bottles of water. There are some major people stepping up, but it's really good to see the first responders get the respect that they deserve on this day, because every day they go to work, they're putting their life on their line, and every once in a while they can come out for some community spirit, and that's what we're going to do this Sunday on August 30th, and the pre-registration at the Cove from 11 to 4:30 this Saturday, the 29th.
That's great. And again, what time does it kick off and end in Bridgeport, just so people know?
The ride starts in Norwalk. Registration on Sunday, on the day of the ride in Norwalk, opens at 8 a.m. We try and tell people that registration closes at 10:45, but if there's a line, we're still going to accept them. The ride leaves when the ceremony's over. We have our opening ceremony that I described with all the participants. That begins at 10:30. So we leave anywhere from 11:15 to 11:30, and every 15-minute increment through the towns. We get through Trumbull somewhere around anywhere from 20 to 1 to 1 o'clock. It's fluid. I tell folks, we have all the permits. The towns are shut down. We don't stop for lights. But at the beginning of the procession, it's just simple math. However many intersections the leads come up on that already have a red light, that need to clear the cars.
Right.
That's a good 10 or 15-minute window on the whole ride till we get to the end. So everybody's waiting every year. We have lists in each town where all the fire departments are going to be. Folks can call your local fire department and say, where are you guys setting up?
Yep.
They really enjoy it, and we really appreciate the red, white, and blue that you see for 60 miles and people wearing it, people waving it. It is really, really awesome.
That's great. Well, Fred, Garrity, thanks so much. I mean, you guys do a great job every year, and it really is an amazing event. I've gone out and watched you guys, and it's just incredible.
There are thousands of folks that deserve all the credit, and thank you for helping us, because we couldn't do it without your support. Really, the suburban support that we get from Hersham and the papers and now online here, it really helps bring everybody out. They're looking for it, and they hear it, they read it. It's great.
All right. Thanks so much, Fred. Well, we're going to take a quick break and be back with more of your coffee break after this.